Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my other guy, my on the other side. Could be an elf for me, or I could be his elf. I mean Santa elf. I don't know how that works. You want to be Santa's helper for this one or what?
Let's do it. It's fine.
It is a wonderful Wednesday on this beautiful night that we are recording. If you're listening to this, it's Thursday morning, Thursday evening, wherever you're listening to it. Thank you. As always, of course, we'll have our little ticker down there to subscribe, follow, give us a like, give us a rating, give us a comment, leave your thoughts, and follow us on all those coverages that we have on our ticker or on the top right of your screen. Subscribe, follow, go from there. But this is episode 147, Alvarez MVP 2024 and Astros Mariachi 5. We will be talking about that soon for me and Angel on our side. But Shohei Ohtani is officially gone from the American League.
Yeah, the stove is boiling over the pot now. It's
I mean, it's over. The water's already overflowing on the pot.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for Yordan Alvarez? What does that mean for other American League getters to get that MVP award? Can Alvarez win it the next year? That's why we have that on our title. Astros pitching Mariachi 5. Like we said, we are going to give our top 5 all-time Astros pitchers. We did kind of a draft style, so we'll show that here in a minute. And then, of course, what's the stove cooking in the offseason? Because, like Angel said, I mean, the water's already overflowing the pot. It is hot. The stove is going. And after the next Japanese star signs, it's kind of anyone's ball game from other teams. You got Cody Bellinger. You still got Teoscar Hernandez. Marcus Stroman's still out there. There's a lot of still, name free agents. But, of course, everybody's trying to get the big fish in the sea. But, Angel, let's start up on the Astros roundup. And like we were talking about, Shohei Ohtani is officially gone. This past weekend, he had posted on his Instagram that he will be going to Hollywood, the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, on Chavez Ravine with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not too far from Anaheim, 45-minute drive, but still the Dodgers. And now that means Yordan Alvarez, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Julio Rodriguez. There are names out there that could be the potential 2024 MVP. Okay, real quick, let's talk about these stat lines from the past 2 years. In 2022, 135 games played, his slash line, 303 batting average, 406 on base percentage, and a 613 slugging percentage, a 1.019 OPS, a 188 OPS plus. He finished with 37 home runs, 97 RBIs, and finished third in the MVP voting. Who won that MVP that year?
2022, Shohei Ohtani.
No, he did not. That was Aaron Judge.
Oh, wow. I was my bad. I was saying 2023. Yeah,
that's them 62 home runs that he passed. I believe it was Roger Maris.
Yeah, Roger Maris was 62.
It was Roger Maris. Okay, yeah. One of those Yankees, them all-time greats. But yeah, passed that record, and so and behold, he got the MVP award, and Alvarez finished third. Not bad, but I guess you could say he had a regressing season in 23, but it doesn't really look like that. In 2023, 114 games, the slash line, 293 batting average, 407 on base percentage, 583 slugging percentage, a 990 OPS, a 170 OPS plus, 31 home runs, 97 RBIs, finished 13th in the MVP voting.
I thought that was more injury related.
Yeah, that was more of an injury plagued season, but 13th. Wow, you went from 3 to 13. I think Tucker was top 5 or top 10 in the MVP voting. So interesting that it could have happened, but is what it is. But in his 5 years in the league, it's already been 5 years, Angel. My gosh.
That's crazy.
That Yordan Alvarez has been in the Astros uniform. 2-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger winner, ALCS MVP, and a World Series champion. The man is just missing maybe a Hank Aaron award. He could get that, I'm pretty sure. But most importantly, the most valuable player in the American League. I feel like he's just missing that little notch right there. But give me your thoughts, man. I mean, because I gave you the 2 seasons from 2022, 2023. Give me your thoughts. Do you see Yordan Alvarez winning an AL MVP either this coming new season in 2024, or do you see it happening in the next upcoming, I believe, 5 more years that the Astros have him in Houston?
It will happen. It will happen for sure in these upcoming years, especially with Shohei Ohtani um, not hogging the award, but making a strong bid every single year. Compared like I think it could happen in 2024. I think if he stays healthy, you you said he went from third to 13th, and it was kind of an injury protection, but he didn't really regress. Like he still hit 30 plus home runs,
Mm-hmm.
RBIs were still the same. Imagine if he could stay healthy. That's easily 100 RBIs. Could easily be 40 home runs as well. So when you put numbers like that, it's a strong candidate for an MVP season, and I think he could do it.
Definitely. If you go back to 2019, obviously he had gotten picked up and called up by the Astros, I believe in like mid June or early July, I would say. 87 games he played that season. 2020, if you remember, he only played 2 games, and then next thing you know, he had surgery. Imagine if Alvarez and Justin Verlander, if they didn't miss that season, the Astros would have went to the World Series against the Dodgers. I believe that was 2 important key guys that didn't play that year, and the Astros were 1 win away from the World Series. But back
Yeah.
to Yordan Alvarez, 144 games. That's been the best so far of his career. In 2021, that was his. I would say that's his best season. 33 home runs, 104 RBIs, 149 hits, 277 batting average. But I mean, OPS plus, everything looks good. And then obviously 2022, like we're talking about, 135 and 23, 114. So I mean, you gotta give credit where it's due to everybody else. Simeon had a good season. Corey Seager had a pretty damn good season. Julio Rodriguez, I believe he was a sleeper in the MVP voting. If Kyle Tucker, I mean, after July, he kind of, regressed a little down. If he was still hitting like he was in July, I think he would have had a strong case to be in the top 3 category. But it's been challenging. And then next thing you know, you're going to have Juan Soto in the American League now.
Oh yeah,
You still have Aaron Judge. I mean, you can't count out pitchers as well. Jose
Julio
Altuve,
Rodriguez,
yeah, Julio Rodriguez, Altuve.
Vladimir
You never
Guerrero
know.
too.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, there's a lot of candidates that could be American League favorite for the MVP award, but I feel like Yordan Alvarez still has that chance to do it in the Nationals uniform because the only Astros who have ever won the MVP award is,
Jose Altuve.
and who else? There's one more. You're missing one.
Isn't it Jake Bagwell?
Jeff Bagwell. Yes, you said it right there. Bagwell in the National League, Altuve in the American League. So Alvarez could join that elite company right there. But we'll have to see this coming season because, like I said, it's going to be tough. But I could see it happening either this year or the upcoming years before his contract ends. But you have anything else before we move on to our next segment, Angel?
No, just watch out for Yordan Alvarez. The thing I was thinking about is, like you said, his best season was 2021, and then he had knee surgery, and then it was 2022, 23, and those knees have been look good. There was some a scary collision at the wall late in the season, and you're like holding your breath because the Astros already lost so many guys, but
Yeah.
he played a good outfielder, and then I feel like if the Astros can find one more outfielder, that will be that will kind of make Jordan just mostly the sole DH, and I think that would be really good for him offensively as well. So just to focus on the hitting aspect of the game. I know he wants to play the field. I know he enjoys it, but you know, you pencil Jordan Alvarez in that lineup to score you some runs, not to make diving catches in the outfield. So um, just watch out because I think yes, you're right. Juan Soto's there. All these new guys coming to the American League, but I feel like sometimes Jordan Alvarez is that lost cousin that everybody forgets about, but the whole season just Christmas. That's when you see him the most, right? So it's just
Mhm.
I think he'll be I think he'll be up there.
Yeah, we'll do a Christmas wish list for the next week's episode since Christmas would be the next, I believe, what, Saturday or Sunday, one of those days. So we'll do something with that for a wish list for the Astros. And of course, John Heyman, I don't know if you saw that. He ranked Alvarez as the number 2 hitter, dangerous hitters in MLB right now. So could be
Who was
number
number
one.
one?
I think Otani is number 1,
Yeah,
which, I mean, you can't really argue about that because he is a damn good hitter.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's one of the most fearful, fearless, dangerous. I mean, you could name all these words. Pitchers do not want to face him, especially this, like in this year's postseason. He was like the number 1 guy you did not want to face
Yeah.
at the play. I believe what it was over 400 as an OPS. I'm not OPS, batting average. See if I got the playoff batting here, postseason batting. Oh man, I
For
didn't.
Yordan Alvarez,
Yeah, Yordan Alvarez.
it's
His
actually
career is a 295, which is really crazy. And the one year that he did not have a good batting average, it was in 2022. 21, it was just phenomenal. 23, same thing. ALDS 438, ALCS 481. The only down season, like I said, in 2022. And that's when the Astros won the World Series.
yeah.
267, the ALDS, 214, the ALCS, and a 130 average in the World Series. So,
Well, in this past playoffs, his he had an average of 460. Like he was on the 400s basically for batting average in every game this past postseason, and that brought his average up to 295 career wise in the postseason.
yeah. So, beware pitchers of the American League, the National League as well, since I mean they are playing in both leagues now. So just have to see. Maybe Alvarez continues the streak of maybe hitting a bunch of home runs, like because like you said, this guy could hit 40 home runs in a season. He possibly could hit 50,
Hmm.
but 40 is more accurate. And if he could stay healthy, at least play 145 or 140 plus games, you could see him holding that MVP award very, very soon.
When if he DHs most games, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's 162.
Yeah, if he does. But then again, you got these little small injuries like last
Hmm.
year, for instance, you remember he had said that he had smashed his finger on the door and he
Yeah.
couldn't play that night. So just a little small injuries. But of course, you want to be precautious with him because that is the future Astro. Besides Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez is the youngest guy. We're not sure about what's gonna happen with Kyle Tucker, if they're gonna extend him or not, if they're gonna let him go. But for sure, the Astros have Yordan Alvarez for another 5 years, I believe. So got to be cautious with him because that's Poppy Jr. as David Ortiz calls him. So, but let's move on to the next segment, Angel. I think we
I'm
both had
excited for
fun
this
with
one.
this
Oh, yeah.
one. And the Astros pitching Mariachi 5. Let's play the music.
Hey,
Mm,
hey.
mm. Hey, solo, 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 solo. Shout out to Apple Music for letting us play that. But there it is. Angel, you want to go with yours first? We did a draft style, like I said. So, Angel, talk about who you drafted from first to being the last.
Oh yeah, so Lorenzo was generous enough to give me the first round pick, and with my first pick, number one overall, I had to go with the Rocket, Roger Clemens. I know there was a few to choose from. Could have easily gone Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, but I don't know. I think the Rocket in those early 2000 season was just dominant, lights out, and then I got a picture with him too, so I was a little biased on that end too. So yeah, first round pick Roger Clemens, and then second pick for me was Nolan Ryan. He's just
Can't go wrong with him. You
yeah,
just can't.
he's a staple in Houston and with the other team up north as well. Going with Mike Scott as number three, a little underrated. I feel like like he
Very,
doesn't
I
get
think
as
so.
much love as he needs to for what he did in Astros uniform. And then I wanted to keep someone modern that I was blessed enough to go to see play, and that is Dallas Keuchel, superior defensive pitcher. You know, it was crucial to the Astros winning their first World Series, and I like the stash, the little
The
beard,
beard, the beard, the
the
beard.
beard. There you go. And then someone who belongs in the Hall of Fame, hopefully he gets in this year as my closer, is Billy Wagner. That's shutting the door in the ninth.
Can't go wrong with those guys. The one we were talking about off air was Mike Scott. As soon as he picked him, I was literally that was my next pick for I believe what it was a third
It's
round.
third round, yeah.
Third round, I was like, okay, Mike Scott is gonna be my guy. But of course, Angel beat me to it. Can't do nothing about it. Just is what it is. But let's see who's playing the trumpets right there. You got Dallas Keuchel playing the trumpet. You
Of
got
course.
Mike Scott playing another trumpet. You got to have a
The
violin
violin,
too.
yeah.
Now, that's Mr. Billy Wagner. We can see him kind of working that little. I don't even know what you call that
Man,
instrument right there.
I feel like Billy Wagner's gonna start off playing with the mariachi, bro, and then gonna put some that went down to Georgia real quick, you know.
That song goes hard on the violin though.
Yeah.
That song
Yeah.
does go hard on the violin. And then of course you got your lead singer right there being Mr. Roger Clemens, the Rocket. So very fun. I enjoyed this starting five. Of course, we
And then
did 4 starting pitchers and 1 closer, but
it's gonna be
love
called
it.
Mariachi Los Rockets, bro.
Ooh, you already got your name. I didn't even think of a name. You got me, and I got to figure out a name when I talk about mine. But love it. Can't go wrong. Love the guys. Let's see. What did I pick on my side? There we go. Who do we got in the first round after Angel picked the first pick? I had the second pick, and that is Justin Verlander. I got to go JV. Even though there's a bunch of names like you were talking about that's out there, I felt like Justin Verlander was the guy. I mean, the guy's a two-tie with the Astros. I mean, he won 2 Cy Youngs. He had a no-hitter, collected 3,000 strikeouts in an Astros uniform. The guy came back from the Mets to the Astros, and in 6 years, I mean, I think this debate's going to happen until he retires. Is who's he going to go into the Hall with? Because this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Period. But is it going to be with Detroit, who he has 13 years with, or is he going to be with the Astros, which I think he'll end the rest of his career being 3 more years, I believe, in his contract. So it'll be a total of 9. 236 overall ERA in an Astros uniform. That's pretty damn sick. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an H in that plaque.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And a lot, that's why I said there's going to be a debate on it to see, because 13 years being in Detroit, and you've done a lot over there in your career as a rookie. He pitched in his first World Series. Yeah, you got to understand that. But at the same time, all the accomplishments and things like that he had done in Houston, bring the city of Houston a World Series championship as well. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, but I mean that talk won't happen until a good while from now. So Justin Verlander's second pick. My fourth pick. Give me the Wizard. Give me Roy Oswalt.
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. If you remember, do you remember back then the section that they kind of had in, I believe it was in right field in the second deck of the mezzanine, if you remember?
I don't.
You don't? Oh, man.
Mm.
I think that's where it was held. I could be wrong. If anybody wanted to put in their plug and their 2 cents into it, if where the Roy Oswalt stand was, please let us know. But Roy Oswalt, yeah, I mean, this guy, one of the best pitchers in the Astros uniform, I'd say. At least I'd say top 5, because what he did in 04 and 05, a little bit in 06 as well, but 04, I mean, 20-win season, 05, 20-win season as well. Game 7 of the NLCS versus the Cardinals at Busch Stadium, old Busch Stadium as well. I mean, the guy's a wizard, 12-6,
I like the pick.
Uncle Charlie, then the fastball, 97 plus. I mean, the guy is a dude. I mean, the guy's a dog, not a dude, a dog. So I'll go with Roy Oswalt as my second, well, really 4th pick, but 2nd overall. 3rd overall, 6th pick. Give us some J.R. Richard. J.R. Richard really didn't have, I'd say, the career that he was promised. R.I.P. R.I.P. for sure. Rest in peace. But he did had suffered a stroke, I believe. But besides talking about that, I mean, talk about the guy that he was, the pitcher that he was in an Astros uniform. 107 wins in his career, 10 years with the Astros. His last season in an Astros uniform, at the age of 30, he was an all-star. And that year, his first, I think he was on the mound first. I think he was a starter, I believe. He had faced Reggie Jackson. I don't know if you saw that matchup, and he struck out Reggie Jackson. So Yeah, J.R. Richard, one of the best pitchers I'd say in the Astros era. Fourth, I'm
I
going
was
with. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry to interrupt, but I was actually between Mike Scott and J.R. Richard. I had to flip a coin for that one, and it was Mike Scott.
So I mean, it would have been either or.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no bad picks on this. I
yeah.
mean, both of them are with Mike Scott, the split finger. Just and then of course, I don't know if you saw the Queens documentary with the Mets on ESPN. I don't know if you saw that, but it's talking about the '86 Mets, and all the Mets players said if the Mets went to a game 7 in the Astrodome in '86 of the NLCS with Mike Scott on the mound, they would have lost.
Oh,
Everybody
wow.
from that team said they had no chance because of the split finger that Mike Scott throws. So
Dirty.
dirty, dirty. If you go look at some videos from '86, he's the only one I believe that won a NLCS MVP from the opposing team.
Oh wow.
Straight up, I think he's the only player that has won that award on the opposing side. But back to J.R. Richard real quick. 271 was his best ERA in 1979. A dog. So, like I said, RIP to JR. But I mean, this guy is a stud. And then who am I missing? I got two more left, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Larry
four.
Durker. Larry Durker. Let me
Mhm.
get the last starting pitcher out the way. Of course, he was a manager for the Astros, but he did pitch a great season for the Astros. I mean, he had 13 years with Houston, 137, 117 record, 328 overall ERA in the Astros uniform. Back in the 60s, you know when he started to pitch for the Astros?
When?
As like in the age, as the age, like how old he was when he made his major league debut.
I would say like 27, 28.
Dude, 17.
Oh wow.
17 years old. He pitched his first game as an MLB starter in 1964.
That's crazy.
That is very crazy.
That's
Like,
that's how. I mean, but that's even like when I take into perspective. That's even like younger than Bryce Harper, who was 19.
well,
Juan
that's what they
Soto was
even with Jackson Holiday when with him being or Jackson Churio, for instance, too. The guy that hasn't even played a single MLB game and he got a contract extension.
yeah.
So to do that at 17 years old, it's pretty crazy. Two-time All-Star. Larry Durker, I got to go with him, the former Astros manager. He was even the manager of a year at a time, too. So, got to go with him. My closer. There's been debate about it. We talked about it. You picked Billy Wagner, and by all means, the man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Who's the second best closer in Astros history? It's kind of a debate as well. It could be from Billy Wagner. You could even throw Ryan Presley. Give me lights out Lidge.
Well,
Give me Brad Lidge. I think
that
he is a good candidate.
that entrance when he would come in from Indian Park was pretty up there too. Between the Ryan Presley's with the lights, like I feel like back
That one's
then.
nice. That one is nice.
But I feel like back then they didn't really do that with the lights. Now, like for lights out, would have been perfect. But just like the stadium go dark and then, you know, it's
Dude,
pretty Lidge too.
I was a fan of it when they used to do that back then in the day. But Brad Lidge, I mean, I think everybody from his career in Houston, everybody is going to remember. Sorry to say this to everybody, every Astro fan that's listening to this, but I think they can relate that whenever people think of Brad Lidge, they think of the home run that Albert Pujols hit, and it's still orbiting to this day.
The
It is
moonshot, yeah.
the moonshot. I mean, it's still orbiting. You can say Luis Garcia's to host Jorge Soler is a close second, but Brad Lidge is. I mean, that's on the all top list right there of being number one. But yeah, I got to go with Brad Lidge. You got to show the guy some love. He did some great things in the Astros uniform. Career high in 42 saves in 2005 in the when the Astros won the NLCS to go its first World Series, two-time All-Star. He did win a World Series. He did win a World Series, but it wasn't with the Astros.
Philadelphia.
It was with the Philadelphia Fighting Phils.
Back
And
in
he
oh
did
eight.
choose, yeah, and he did choose the Astros over Philadelphia when they played last year in the World Series. So I think he still has a special place for Houston,
Of course.
of course, when it comes all said and done, I'm talking about the all-time closer, like at least number one, number two. It's gonna be Billy Wagner because the dude deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I believe he will be either in this year or next year. And then right there in that second spot, it's either gonna be Brad Leach or gonna be Ryan Presley. Straight up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yep. I mean that was the fun part of this mariachi thing because we
Oh
want
yeah.
to do something different. We talked about it before. We're thinking Mount Rushmore, but let's do something different. Let's do a mariachi plan. The guys got their instruments. They got the guitar, the violin, the trumpets. You always need that lead singer that can hit that grito. You always need that.
Oh
Always need
yeah.
that.
Of course.
So we'll have to see. And then of course we'll have our new segment later in the year too. We'll be talking about soon.
Yeah, but there's gonna be more to come. And like Lorenzo and I were talking about is that maybe doing what Lorenzo was mentioning, maybe doing like a trio too, for like outfitters and stuff like that. So more to come. And I feel like this one makes the podcast pretty fun. Making these lists and camaraderie, and then give us your take too.
Yes.
Comment on our YouTube channel. Like who will be your five as well. Or even when this goes on Twitter as well. Like give us your thoughts.
Don't
Give
be
us your thoughts.
afraid. Don't
Yeah,
be afraid. We're all here to have fun. That's
for
all we
sure,
do.
for sure. Like no judgment.
No judgment at all.
Opinions matter. But like we were saying earlier, the stove is boiling. It is the top's already on the floor. Water's already causing this whole fire on on the stove because it is crazy. And it starts with the man himself that everybody was waiting for him to sign, to tell us where he's gonna go. Baseball star Shohei Ohtani. He let the world know where he was signing by an Instagram post, and I think people were had his post notifications on because they literally, as soon as he posted a minute later, the whole news was around the world that Shohei Ohtani was officially signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it makes sense. I remember I even mentioned I think it's gonna be the Dodgers just because
Mhm.
he lives in South in California, and
Yeah.
it just made sense for him. I I thought the Toronto Blue Jays could have made it a good run just because
Oh, yeah. The
uh Tor-
whole thing that was going around too with it as
yeah.
well.
But even before that was circulating, I feel like Toronto, Canada, it's just Toronto's a beautiful city. Maybe he wanted to change, but no, he wanted to stay back home. Um, and it is a 10-year, $700 million contract, which is the largest guaranteed contract in North American sports history. Now, when I first saw that contract, I was like, man,
Yeah.
that's a lot. 70 million a year. It's gonna be hard for them to make any moves. Like immediately I thought the Albert Pujols contract with the Angels, like right off the bat, where they were paying them so much money that it was hard for them to do anything. And then towards the end, they just had to move him. But Otani being Otani, you know,
Yep.
he's for the team, and it could have been a little smart financial thing for himself. Is Otani will make $2 million for 10 straight years. So 20 million in total from 2024 to 2033, just so the Dodgers can be competitive and be able to pay more people and win. Now, the rest of the money, because like a 20 wants his money, 68 million will be paid from 2034 to 2043. Some Bobby Bonilla, deferred money type of stuff. But I think instead of Bobby Bonilla Day, it's gonna be Shohei Ohtani Day from now on, because that is just a lot of
Um,
change. That
dude, it's a
yeah,
lot of dough.
for sure. But what I was thinking, and I think I saw this as well, is California has a huge tax, and
Yeah.
I think someone did the math, and for 70 million, he was actually going to be making 34 million without taxes. But if he lives in Japan, you think that's going to be taxed? You think he'll get more
I don't think
of
he'll
his
get
money?
taxed, but yeah, I think he does get more of his money than being obviously taxed in a different country. Maybe the currency is a different, like it's more over there than in the US because with Mexico, with the pesos and the
Hmm.
currency exchange, how it is. I don't know how Japan is, but real quick, when you're searching something real quick, Ken Griffey Jr. in 2024, because he had that big contract with the Reds, he's gonna be making 3.6 million more than Shohei Ohtani is with that 2 million next year.
Oh, and
So
then
I think Bobby Bonilla too as well.
I think I just looked it up, and $100 is 14,524
Oh
Japanese
shoot.
yen. So he's gonna be living lavishly. over there. So, like, yeah, I think he's set for life after that. I think his children are set for life after that too, as well.
And then
But
plus he got some endorsements with New Balance as well.
yeah, all the TV endorsements he's gonna bring in, all that revenue he's bringing into LA. So I feel like Otani's just a walking ATM at this point. Yeah, but Otani's contract valuation comes into a total of $437 million. Yeah,
It's
it's just
crazy.
crazy. Now, I just talked about how Otani's just Otani, right? He's this different person, like like I would say even kind person, right? I feel like
Mhm.
whenever people mention Otani, there's never one bad like there's never a bad thing that you know people say, or they get this vibe like he's just above all human being, and it just shows now with this is the because Otani stated wanted to put in his contract is he can opt out of his contract if the Dodgers owner or Dodgers president of baseball operations lose their roles. If one of them's gone, he has the right to opt out and head somewhere else, maybe follow them, where they go. So I think I don't think anything's changing for 10 years for the Dodgers though. I think like in order to be successful, you gotta keep your best player happy. I think that's one of the things they will be willing to do. And there will be a press conference Thursday or today at 1 p.m. Central if you are wanting to hear
Available.
about it, see about it, or available to see it. Yeah, so it's gonna be there. Now, I do have a question for you. Now that
Mhm.
Otani has signed this massively large contract, I have two things. How underpaid is Jordan Alvarez after this contract, and does this affect Bregman now that he's going to be a free agent as well?
I don't think the first one with Yordan Alvarez, I think I mean obviously from the get go, from that contract, it was underpaid from the get go. 116 something million, I believe it was. Yeah, and he could have got Juan Soto or plus more Juan Soto money because Juan Soto is going to set to be over 400 after playing with the Yankees for this coming year. So yes, underpaid Jordan definitely. Alex Bregman, on the other hand, it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen with him. I just I believe that the Astros should try to get him back and to keep him in the Astros uniform. But with Bregman too, maybe he wants to be in a new change of scenery. I don't, he already put his house on the market. I don't know if he's going to buy a bigger house in Houston or he's going to look for some other land. Obviously, too, um, with the what was the horse racing that he
Mm-hmm.
does as well. But with Bregman's contract though, I just to me, even though what with the Otani situation what had gone through, maybe you could get him to sign to something million a year. There's just no way in hell that's gonna happen. I
Do you
just
think
don't
he
see
gets
it.
300?
Like we talked about, I can see him getting three. And we've talked about this before. I see the 250 to three. I'm looking at that range. I'm not looking over 305, but if he gets 300 flat, even 310, I think he could get it just the fact of his play discipline, the offensive production he brings, the defense, and then the leadership he does as well. So I
Now,
think it can happen.
now staying on this topic before we move on, because I think this was like the biggest news besides the one I'm going to talk about next. But there's been some debate going around or stirring around in the league about maybe having a cap in Major League Baseball. You know how football has a cap of to make other teams competitive, and
Mhm.
then also should there be a limit of deferred money that there could be out? Because honestly, I feel like looking at this contract, yes, 700 million, but if you're going to defer money, I think any small market team could have would have been willing
Done
to
what they did.
like to do what they did, but not having that knowledge. And like, yeah, the argument is every team could have done this, but this is unheard of. Like,
Mhm.
this is unheard of to me that a player is gonna defer 68 million a year just so it can be
Yeah.
competitive. So, like, do you think there should be a cap, and do you think there should be a limit in deferred money, or do you think everything's good the way it is?
Honestly, I think it's good the way it is. It just makes they just did their homework. They it just makes sense to just keep it how it is because if you start messing with it, the CBT is going to get different. The players association is going to get into it as well, and there could possibly be another lockout. Just trying to
Yeah.
to differentiate different things about it. But like real quick, Jeff Passan, because everybody was wondering, like, is this even legal? 2 million a year? He's deferring 680 million. that's just crazy. But Jeff Passan had put out there, a screenshot, and it's illegal. It said there shall be no limitations on either the amount of deferred compensation or the percentage of total compensation attributable to deferred compensation for which a uniform player's contract may provide. Article, it has Roman numerals right now. I can't do the math. I think it's 16, Article 16, and it has deferred compensation. So it was just the Dodgers being smart on their end. But two, it's gonna come and bite them when it comes to 2034. They're
Yeah,
gonna owe 68 million
to a
a
player not
year
even
to
in uniform.
Shohei Ohtani, and Shohei's gonna be 40 something years old by the time this contract ends.
He's gonna be sitting in the beach in Japan, probably just collecting his
Yeah,
paycheck.
yeah, he could. Yeah, he could even open a Disney park out there, or Universal Studios park, or something. Shoot, because I mean, it's crazy how much money this is at, but you're talking about a once in a lifetime player that hasn't happened since Babe Ruth. And I'm pretty sure everybody wasn't alive at the time to see Babe Ruth play, but seeing Shohei do what he does, and honestly, this is just my opinion, my thought. I don't see Shohei pitching after, well, what year is that year? I'd say 2027, 2030. I mean, not 2023, 2030.
Yeah,
Because you could just do that for so long. He's already had 2 Tommy John surgeries. So it could come back and bite the Dodgers in the butt. But to answer your question once again, I just don't see them messing with the CBT. I don't see them messing with it or doing anything with the money situation.
yeah, and then I agree with you at that point, and I would say even earlier. I would say because he's not pitching next year,
Mm-mm.
and depending how that goes, the following year, which is uh 20 will be 2025 when he's able to pitch.
Yeah, 2025.
So like depending how that goes, if he's having these like injury problems and stuff like that, I feel like Shohei Ohtani is gonna be like, you know what, I want to play baseball for a long time
Mm-hmm.
and not risk my body even more. I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna be a DH. I can see that happening as well. So like 2025 doesn't work out, he gets hurt again, like major injury again, or he gets, he's feeling he's not the same. I think the Dodgers just paid for DH for
Yeah.
that much, and these are words from everybody has their own opinion about this Ohtani signing, media personnel, but this is Diamondbacks owner Ken Kendrick on the Shohei Ohtani signing. He was like, and I quote, "Last I looked, he's one of 9, and the last I also looked, he's a designated hitter. He's a great player. Is he the second coming? I would suggest not." So
I
interesting
mean, you you
words.
I mean, you do agree with that because like I said, you could do this for so long. You could pitch for so long. He's already had a bunch of injuries from shoulder to elbow, to cut on his fingers when they're throwing curveballs. You could do this for so much. But looking into your future now, yeah, this guy's gonna be a DH because when it comes to 30 years old, how are you gonna manage and how are you gonna take care of your arm? That's the other part of it. I'm pretty sure he does take care of his arm. I'm pretty sure bands and all that work that these athletes do. But when you get older, your body isn't like a teenager, a adolescent, a young adult, 20, all these age group that I just described right there. I just don't see it. I don't. And that's where the 68 million is going to come. And I feel like it's going to kick the Dodgers in the butt.
Yeah, but they're win now, face
Win now.
repercussions later,
And
right?
go,
But
there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's definitely true. That's definitely true.
yeah, but we'll see what happens. Again, the Dodgers haven't really been successful um in the postseason, honestly, besides the 2020 season when it was that shortened. But we'll see how that affects them. But there's some other news in the market. That's Juan Soto, the trade that we talked about last week finally happened. He's officially a Yankee. The Yankees received outfielder Trent Grisham and Juan Soto, and the Padres received a plethora of prospects, which is Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, and Kyle Higoshiga. And I think, what, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if the Yankees can't re-sign Juan Soto. Padres just
Mhm.
got a haul. I think
I think so too.
Padres won that trade for sure. you saw a glimpse of Michael King, and he was pretty good. I know a few of y'all picked him up on fantasy. It was like, he was in and out, and I know
Fantasy
he did
talk,
really.
baby. Love it.
I love it. He was great, and I think he has a bright future. Drew Thorpe was highly talked about as well. But no, yeah, I think it was a win for the Padres, even though the Yankees, still have a pretty good lineup. But honestly, yes, Otani got, the Dodgers got Otani and the Yankees got Han Soto, but I think there's still some better lineups in the major leagues. Like, I feel, yes, the top, maybe top 5, 6 hitters, are scary, but then the bottom three is just like, like you can dice them up real quick. But I don't know. That's my 2
Okay,
cents
so
on that.
real quick, if the Yankees re-sign Juan Soto after this year, who officially wins that trade then? You still think the Padres do, or do you think the Yankees? Because think about it too. The
Mhm.
Yankees didn't give up Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez, Austin Wells, or I think his name is Edward Peraza.
Mhm.
They were their top prospects, and they didn't get none of them off. What do
And
you
I
think?
would I would say the Yankees because again, I feel like there's a saying in baseball is like you always trade the prospects for the big star because you never know how the prospects are going to pan out, right? So
Mhm.
on paper right now, it looks like the
The
Padres, but
Padres.
you never know what could happen in the future.
Okay, definitely agree with that. I agree with you.
But there's been, I feel like the baseball world was on pause until Shohei Ohtani was signed, and now the moves are starting to come in. For that, we have the Kansas City Royals signed Seth Lugo to a 3-year, $45 million contract, and they also signed Chris Stratton, 3.5 million for 2024, 4.5 million for player option 2025. And the KC also signed left-handed pitcher Will Smith to a 1-year, $5 million. And Will Smith has been a part of the 3 consecutive World Series championship teams.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the Royals. Yeah.
Congrats, KC. Get another World Series title over there since I think it was 15 or 14.
But I think part of this, and I could be wrong. I'm just speculating here, but I think this MLB draft lottery is kind of affecting the way they teams do moves now because that
Mhm.
first round pick is not a guarantee. You just saw the Athletics who were seeing baseball and they drafted fourth because the Royals were down there with
With Ace.
the Oakland, right? And
Mhm.
now you see them making moves. Seth Lugo was a great pickup for them. Chris
Yeah.
Shannon, a great pickup for them as well. Will Smith could,
A lot of
that was
veteran presence, I'd
yeah,
say.
yeah, especially for like to help those young guys as well. But
Young
three
team.
years for
Yeah.
45 million, that's telling me that they want to be competitive this year. So shout out to them. Maybe
Central's
this
up
draft,
there.
yeah. I mean, it was up there for grabs. Even the Tigers at one point had a chance to, be first place in that division. So, staying in the AL Central, the Guardians signed catcher Austin Hedges to a 1-year, $4 million contract, and the Tigers signed left-handed pitcher Andrew Chafin to a 1-year, $40.25 million contract with 6.5 million with up to 1.25 in incentives in the club auction of 2025.
A
And
lot of 1-year deals, dude.
yeah,
A lot of 1-year deals.
especially like a prove it deal, right?
Mhm.
Like, do you still have what it takes?
And plus, they could be trade pieces at the trade deadline, for the other teams.
Absolutely. Andrew Chafin was a great pickup for me that I think could get moved as well. Seth Lugo could get moved as well because I mean, yes, it's 3 years, $45 million contract, but that's not a bad contract that
And same
teams.
thing as Will Smith too.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Could be 4 in a row.
4 in a
On
row, whatever team.
And the Baltimore Orioles, best team in the AL East, pitching was a major factor for them at the long run. So what do? They bring in Craig Kimbrell to a 1-year, $12 million contract with a club option 2025 worth up to 13 million. So keep your eyes over there in Baltimore. And the Reds, again, there's a lot going on. I feel like I'm just sounding like,
Broken record.
yeah, a lot of moves going on. I'm just trying to get you these moves.
Caught up to date.
Cincinnati Reds signed third baseman DH Jamir Calendario. Great pickup.
Yes.
3 years, $45 million with a 15 club option for 2027. Arizona Diamondbacks is a team to watch, I would say, in the NL Central. Yes,
In a
I'm sorry,
West. In
NL
a
West.
West.
Sorry, I was gonna say nationally, but then I just added the the thing. But that's a team to watch. They've been making moves. I think they're still upset about that loss because they've been signing some key pieces, and Eduardo Rodriguez to a 4-year, $80 million contract as well, which is really good.
Mhm.
The Giants missed out again on the, and
For
there were
all those
talks.
years.
They were trying to sign Arson Judge. I'm just kidding, Aaron Judge. Uh, they
Harson
were
Judge.
they were close to Correa, close to Judge. They were close to
Ohtani.
Otani as well. So I don't know what's up with San Fran, but they haven't been able to land the big stars. What do they do? You know what? I'm flying to Korea, giving me a star over there, and they're gonna get outfielder Jung Ho Lee on a 6-year, $113 million contract. However, Lee can opt out after 4 years if he's not happy or if he doesn't like the way the Giants are going as well. So he has
Real,
that.
real quick,
Mhm.
Ohtani, the GM for the Giants said that they had matched the same thing the Dodgers had
I
wanted.
saw that.
And Ohtani's like, nope, I'm comfortable in this side of California, the lower part of where LA's at. I'm good. I just got to move my stuff for 45 minutes away. That's all I got to do. Maybe pick up a U-Haul real quick and drive all my stuff over there. Because
Or maybe
LA to
just
San Fran is 6 hours on
how
just
much
regular
is
time.
LA to Anaheim?
LA to Anaheim is 45 minutes.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure he stayed put.
yeah, and then just think about that guy. He was going to give up his whole restaurant. It was going to be the Shohei restaurant with the Shohei sandwich, sandwiches for life. Dude, they have a mean crazy crab sandwich over there in San Fran with some garlic fries. Recommend if you go over there to Oracle Park this year.
Dang.
Very recommend.
What could have been? What could have been?
Could have been. Could have been.
And then lastly, Pittsburgh Pirates signed Mexico, the World Baseball Classic first baseman and the Brewers first baseman, Roddy Tellez, to a 1-year, $3 million contract. Now, again, the stove is just crazy right now. Those were signings. Now we have off-season trades as well. Well, do you have any input on the off-season signings before we move on to the off-season trade? I feel like I've been talking too much.
No, no, no. I don't. It's just the 1 years I was just telling you about that. That's just crazy. These players could be actually rentals at the trade deadline. But off-season trades, let's do it.
New York Yankees again, and the Dodgers again. This time, trading with each other. The Yankees traded away their number 8 prospect Trey Sweeney to the LA Dodgers for lefty Victor Gonzalez and infield prospect Jorbit Vivas. I think this was kind of like, I think both teams were trying to make moves on their 40-man roster to, you know, fit those new acquisitions they received. So I think it was a
Oh yeah.
win-win uh for both ends. And then the Cleveland Guardians traded for Christian Betancourt, and he goes to Miami for cash. Wait, I think he was with the Rays.
No, he was with the Guardians. That's what I thought too.
Okay. Yeah, because I was reading that. I was like, wait.
Yeah,
I
it was,
remember him.
and I thought the same thing, but it's actually the Guardians.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
it was a trade before or after the season literally ended, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Guardians traded their newly acquired catcher for to the Marlins for cash. And then, you know what? Even though the Angels have always been, enemies to the Astros, I've always liked the way Devin Fletcher plays. Well, the Angels traded Devin Fletcher and Max Stassi, former Astro, to Atlanta for Evan White and Taylor Thomas. And then the St. Louis Cardinals traded Tyler O'Neill to the Boston Red Sox. That one was surprising for me.
You got some bombs that could go over that monster and
Yeah.
left. Dude has some strength on him.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're zoomed in on his guns, but, they're pretty
Watch,
massive.
watch out there on Lansdowne Street.
Yeah. Look up when you're walking by there and you hear on the speaker that, and you hear his walk up song. But
Get that glove ready.
yeah. The rumor roll, though. We have some rumors going on. Yoshinabu Yamamoto has been, besides Otani, has been another Japanese superstar that has caught the attention of all teams, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 7 teams, I think, that are in the mix, but I'm sure all 21, the rest of the 21 teams are inquiring about Yamamoto. Well, he's been busy since he's been in the United States. He had a meeting with the Giants, with the Yankees, and with the Dodgers. Right. Again, those Giants again trying to land that big splash. Well, when he met with the Yankees, they're trying to entice him to come in. Come sign here. Well, they brought out Hideki Matsui and Marshall Tanaka for that meeting.
Two
Well,
great Japanese Yankee players, honestly.
absolutely. So I guess with the Dodgers, you know what? We're gonna one up you, and we're gonna have Otani, Betts, and Freeman come out to our meeting.
Wow,
So
what a
after
trio!
after those meetings, what do you think he's signing?
Dodgers.
Okay.
I think it's the Dodgers. After that deferred money, and now Otani's there, and he's kind of wants to link with Otani. He literally wants to link with them because remember they played with each other at the WBC.
Yeah.
So I think LA, and
I would
especially right now how they're playing, they're going to be playing. They won over 100 games, so they're doing everything they can to win, like you said.
I would say to me, Boston Red Sox.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sleeper dark horse, you would say.
I mean, I think they were up there too. I think they're one of the 7 teams. So I would say, I guess sleeper to answer your question, right?
Maybe okay, sleeper for me. No, no, no. I'd say the Mets too could be another one.
I can see that too, especially with Senga up there, and then
Yeah,
the Red Sox have
Yoshida.
Yoshida. That's what it was. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yoshida. So he said he wanted to play with a Japanese player, and there's there's plenty of them on pretty good teams. So,
Yep,
but you're right with the deferred money, and you
just
know,
helps them, man.
speaking on this side of the podcast, it bothers me that they still have all that money to make those moves. But no, yeah, I mean,
That's baseball,
yeah,
as people say.
it happens, right? So I know JD Martinez was kind of linked with the Dodgers earlier, but I think with the Otani signing, that just kind of settles it. I don't think he's coming back to the
Mhm.
Dodgers because he takes up that DH role, and I'm not gonna. I'm sure the Dodgers are going to send out JD Martinez to go strike fly balls in the outfield. Um, so other teams have been calling, and Angels are a possibility. Saying you know they're going to swap DHs over there. Mariners, Mets, and Diamondbacks are also calling JD Martinez's phone. And again, I hate speaking about the Dodgers again, but the Dodgers are moving closer to acquiring Rays A's Taylor Glass now after extensive talks on Tuesday as well. So
Dodgers are making some moves this offseason.
I,
They
th- I
are
think
making moves.
I think the Dodgers just want to win an actual World Series, not a Mickey Mouse World Series. So I think that's what it is.
Oh shoot!
But
Never
you
know.
know, go ahead.
Nah, there's. I mean, but they do need pitching if they're gonna want to go to the World Series. They're gonna need pitching, and getting Glasnow, I think that'd be a decent move. Not the best, but
Yeah.
if they get Yamamoto and Glasnow, my gosh.
No,
And
yeah,
then Walker
because
Bueller's coming back.
yeah. No, because honestly, since 2017, since they've been to the playoffs, they just
17 World Series, 18 World Series, 19 got out of the playoffs, 20 won the World Series,
60-game season.
21 21 they lost the playoffs, 22 they lost the playoffs, and 23 they lost the playoffs.
Yeah, so if you think about it, they have been choking under pressure. They're trying to get these, they're trying to set themselves up for success, right? Like,
Mhm.
obviously, and I'm sure if that was the Astros, like, they're not satisfied with that,
Yeah.
like coming so close. So, yeah, I mean, hats off to them. They got the money for it. They're doing it. That can be a
And
dangerous team.
I'd say too, I think if the Dodgers fan was in the Astros shoes, like if the Astros won that World Series in 2020, Dodger fans would be all on the Astro fans
Oh, yeah.
saying, you know, that was a Mickey Mouse World Series. And
Oh, yeah.
obviously Mickey Mouse is living in Disneyland in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But MLB is introducing the first spring breakout from March 14 to 17, 2024. Each team's best prospects will face off in a game at Big League Spring Training Stadium. That's pretty short. I like that. It's
I
like a little
honestly do.
futures game, like because I think like we only get one futures game, and that's All Star Weekend, and then having this one, I mean, I like it.
Gonna have a lot of studs out there.
Oh yeah,
Jackson Holiday being number one. Jackson Churio that hasn't played a professional baseball game, but got that big 80 million contract. He'll be out there as well. And then, of course, I think the Astros would be the top prospect. It is Jacob Melton on the MLB pipeline, but there's a strong chance I think Spencer Arrighetti goes out there.
I think a night to watch is Corona too. I forgot his first name.
Oh,
Kennedy
Kennedy
Corona.
Corona. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He
I
just
think
got to the Venice Winter League, actually.
they
So,
denied him.
oh, they denied him.
The Astros told him he couldn't. Basically, he
Oh,
couldn't.
the Astros told him. Well,
Yeah,
It's all right. Relax this winter. Relax. Let's just wait for the new year of 2024. But that's the end of our show.
It's a long
That
one,
is,
54
it was a
minutes.
long one, but hey, we powered through. I hope y'all enjoyed the mariachi things. I hope you enjoyed some Yordan Alvarez talking. Of course, I mean a lot of it was talking about the hot stove. It was middle part, but I mean it's big news. Shohei Ohtani has finally set off for a team. Yamamoto's going to be the next one. After that, it's up for grabs for everybody else at this point.
Yeah.
But like I said, our ticker's there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us at Full Steam Ahead, TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram, FSA Full Steam Ahead. And then, of course, wherever you get your podcast platforms, to Spotify, to Apple, and to Google Podcasts. But, Andrew, you got anything else before we sign off?
No, thank you for listening to this off season. I know in the off season, some people's heads go, no, football, basketball. But if you're hearing our baseball podcast, we appreciate that as well.
Keeping it going. And, of course, next episode, like we said, we'll be talking probably with an Astros Christmas list to see what the Astros need before the new season comes. But till then, y'all have a blessed week. Stay safe on the weekend. And of course, we'll talk to y'all next week.
Peace.